For so long, we've been focusing on not the most important things that we need to focus on in relationships. The society speaks so highly about love language and its importance. People carry on about love language being the goal of relationships. Oh, he buys me gifts. It makes me feel good. He says the beautiful words to me. He spends his time with me. Don't get it wrong, those are all important. What I'm trying to tell you is that that's not the most important thing you need to focus on in a relationship. The most important thing you need to focus on is the root cause of the love language. Where is that love language stemming from? Let me let you into something. The love language is stemming from the core values each individual holds. And let me tell you something, even if you live in the same home, let's say you have a sibling, and both of you were raised the same way, it does not mean you will have the same love expression or love language. So why would anyone think that two individuals that do not know themselves, that actually do meet each other, will then all of a sudden have the same love language? It doesn't make any sense. We are made up of so many things and so many factors that makes us who we are. Our culture is also affecting the way we are raised and the way we express love. Our experiences in life and also has a role to play in the way we express love. Your experience that can be different from the experience that you may have had even when it comes to two friends or two sisters living in the same home. My name is Doyin. Welcome to Rethink Life with Doyin, where we unlearn to relearn. Guys, I hope you really enjoy that episode that was brought to you by Rethink Life with Doyin, of course, and of course, Ubridge Health, where we provide psychiatric mental health services. The speaker tonight, her name is Miss Nina Knight. She is amazing. That was phenomenal conversation we had. The conversation was love language, really that important, right? And we learned tonight that, okay, to some extent, absolutely, love language is important because it is an expression of love. But we also understood that love, right? Everybody's definition of love varies. Not just the love definition, but the expression of it. And why is that? Because so many factors can affect the way we express love or even receive love. Let's assume you have similar core values. Does that mean that you're safe? Does that mean that now, we're going to be all great and things are going to be good because we have the same core values that equals we have the same love language? No, it doesn't. Let's put it this way. And just because you have the same love language does not mean it's the same when it comes to the way you express it. It goes both ways. Just because you have the same core values does not equate that you will have the same expression of the core value. And just because you have the same love language does not equate you will have the same expression of the love language. If someone is, if their core value is that they like someone that is honest, somebody, because of their life experiences, honesty to them is that their approach is very straightforward and direct. Someone else, because of their cultural or experiences, right, growing up or family dynamics, their own approach is to be gentle or diplomatic. So just because, again, even though they're both having the same core values of honesty, it does not mean they would have the same expression of that. For someone else, respect is honoring their boundaries. For someone else, respect is literally when you're listening to them, right? It shows up differently and is expressed differently for each individual. This is why, even when you're paying attention to the core values, you want to make sure you also pay attention to understand how it is expressed to that person. What I want you guys to take home here is that I want you to understand that don't focus on the love language alone. Focus more go deeper, go into focusing more on the core values the individual holds. Go deeper and also ask questions about how these core values are portrayed, are described, or what do they mean when they say integrity? What do they mean when they say trust? How does that look like? You may have the same love language and it may not be expressed the same way. Why is that? Because our expectations also can get in the way, right? For example, your family. maybe your dad used to surprise your mom with flowers, right? And you told your partner, hey, I really, I love flowers and I really want you to get it for me. Even if you express to the person how it was done by your parents, you may even feel like, why did I have to tell him? Why do I have to teach him? Because think about it, really what you're trying to do now is you're trying to not change the love language. You really want to change the core value that the person holds about themselves. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to change the person's identity. The person, you know how they say people don't change except they want to, or they see the need to, or they've learned something whereby, or they've acquired some kind of knowledge that has now caused a groundbreaking situation for them to want to go ahead and change. You can influence people to change, but you cannot force them to change just even by touching on the surface. So therapy is absolutely beneficial for people to unearth and unlearn the things that they were thought were their core values that may not that could be detrimental to their life at this time, right? So another thing is that I want you to go ahead and pay attention and allow room for the differences that each individual holds. Allow room for that to be expressed. What do I mean by that? Think about it. We are different. There are times, yes, you're going to get along with some people. There are times you're not going to get along with some people. But either way, the whole idea is not necessarily about celebrating the differences, but allow for room for you guys to explore and understand and decide whether you want to accept or embrace the differences or not. If someone, their expression of love is words of affirmation, but your expression of love is physical touch. If your partner is showing you by via words of affirmation, right? I'm not saying they cannot try to learn your way of physical touch, but my point is also learn to appreciate the effort because they are showing you their love language. Don't be so closed off and not see it. Another thing we also see, especially in psychiatry and also therapy, sometimes people go ahead and leave a relationship, leave their relationship because of one love language that was not fulfilled. Because that's what they've been focusing on. They've been focusing on how to just they want to fix that one love language or fix that one expression of love. And the person they're with could have multiple qualities. They could have maybe a lot of values that they appreciate, but because they've been paying attention to what they can get only, they go ahead and be with someone else that only has that one quality but has zero values. We see that happens a lot. So I don't want you guys to go ahead and make the mistake of focusing on just not just what you can receive. Pay attention to what you can receive and what you give as well. You understand? And also pay attention to what the other person is doing, their effort behind the way they express love. And when you pay attention to that, you may realize, wow, they really love me. They really are showing me their way of loving. Okay? It's an exchange. All right. Even the Bible talks about, right? Love your God with all your heart and love your neighbor like you love yourself. It's really that simple. Yeah, everybody is expressing love the way they know how, the way they learned. So pay attention to that. Yeah. You may not speak the same love language, but they may be showing you the love that they know how. And by the time you quantify and look at the way they show you the love that they know how, you may be surprised and be like, wow, this person really loves me, even though they may not speak the same love language as you. Core values, right? When partners have, very different values, right? Family, finances, lifestyle, ethics. This is what creates tension and conflict and often leads to divorce. But love languages may not necessarily be the sole cause of divorce. But understand that it can make someone else feel unloved, right? Even if the person is like, I'm looking at you and I'm like, I want physical touch, and my partner is not giving that, you may start feeling unloved. But my point to you is change your perspective just a little bit. If you pay attention to learn that other person, watch what other person is doing, how they're expressing love, you may realize, wow, their expression of love is words of affirmation or act of service. And by the time you pay attention and you see, you may really see what and how much magnified love they have for you. Yeah, you got to pay attention to the effort. Don't focus on the fluff. Focus on the real meat, which is the core value. And then also pay attention to the efforts behind that person's expression of love. Try to get to know people based on their values or in life, about life. What are the core values that hold them to be who they are today? And then pay attention to their expression and what they mean when they say integrity, growth, flexibility, reliable, trustworthy. How does that look to that individual? You have to learn to appreciate the effort that your partner puts in because they're speaking from their love language. So it's good to observe and recognize what it is that is their love language and how are they showing that forth to you. Like the speaker spoke about how her husband buys her gift because that's his love language, but she has a different love language as well. So at the end of the day, she recognizes the effort that her partner puts in. And it's about appreciating what the other person does for you, right? So if you know that it's not in line with what you like, so this is where values, right, are stemming from. Because when you know your values, then you will know, okay, even if they don't show me a certain love language, I can appreciate the effort that the person puts in because they're obviously showing me care. Maybe that's what is that is of value to you, right? Someone showing you love or care. So you want to know the different types of values that you have. And even when it comes to cultural values or family values, you want to know what type you have for yourself because all of this is really where what we could call love language. This is where it's stemming from. When you get into love, live with someone, you're not living with just the love language. You're living with the values that this person holds. And this is all stemming from how they were raised as a child, currently in their life experiences, or sometimes also what they've learned from the society, or what they carry on as their own through their traumatic experiences or even not so traumatic experiences. So again, just wanted to add that important information there. So again, don't be so caught up with the whole love language. People need to go to therapy to talk to someone to help them unlearn so they can relearn better about life and discover what it is that is their own true value and not that it's a core, it's not just a core belief that they have that could be detrimental to even the relationship they're in. We did hear from the speaker, Miss Nina, and she was wonderful. I hope you guys, don't forget that portion. That again, even though you may have a certain love language, it could be words of affirmation, it could be quality time, physical touch, act of service, or receiving gifts. This can look very different because people are coming from different angles of life and walks of life. They've been in different relationships, for example. They've been in different, with the experiences they have culturally varies. The experiences they have in their family varies. The whatever they've seen in their life affects the way they express love. And again, we can unlearn to relearn better. It isn't love language that is most important. It's a beautiful thing to know that someone shows love the way they know how, or better yet, maybe they express love the way you want them to. But even if you teach someone how to love you, it doesn't mean they would go ahead and, give love the way you want them to. A lot of things, a lot of factors play a role in the way we express love. We cannot expect the other human to express love the same way. Love language is the surface work. Let's get deeper and get into the core values of each individual and focus on that when it comes to love. What is your core value? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you love and what you don't like? Do you know what makes you angry? Why you're triggered? And why do you feel fluttered or happy when someone does a certain thing for you? We come from different backgrounds and we cannot expect to be the same. Appreciate the one you love. Appreciate their efforts and get to know yourself today. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Doyin, psych nurse practitioner at UBridge Health. And also follow me on Rethink Life with Doyin, where we unlearn to relearn. Thank you. Bye for now. Don't forget, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.